Welcome to Money Muscle Mindset, the podcast designed to motivate and educate you on your journey to financial and fitness success and to develop mentality needed to achieve your goals. I'm Zay Molina, guys, and in this episode, we're going to talk about why you should start now. So many of us, we tend to procrastinate. We talked about this a couple episodes ago, and, we tend to put things off or push them to maybe the start of the week or the start of the month or whenever it may be, guys. But so many of us are pushing ourselves further back from achieving our goals because we're simply just waiting to start, and we keep waiting and we keep waiting, we keep pushing it further and further, guys, and eventually we end up never starting or starting way later than we wanted to, right? And it's pushing our goals back further and further. So today we're going to talk about why we tend to wait, right? How we can avoid waiting, and then we're also going to talk about one of the challenges I have right now to help us get started now and start building something that's super important to helping us achieve our goals. Okay, so without further ado, guys, let's dive right into why we should start now. So first and foremost, guys, let's talk about why waiting sets us back. And this one seems pretty obvious, right? Every time we wait longer and longer, guys, what happens? We're just simply pushing back achieving our goals further and further as well, right? Our start date pushes back our end date, right? And that's just what we, tend to see with everything that we do, right? So why don't we tend to just start right away, right? Why do people tend to keep pushing it back further and further? Well, one, we talked about procrastination. There's things that we got to do that we don't want to do, and we just keep pushing it back further and further, to avoid starting and doing those things that we don't want to do, right? But the other thing is a lot of people are afraid to get started because, one, they feel unprepared. They feel that the time is not perfect, right? Sometimes, we're sitting back and we're like, well, I'll start that when the time is perfect. I'll start that, when I'm ready. I'll start that when everything is aligned and everything is ready to go and all this kind of stuff, guys. But really, there is no perfect time to start, right? There is never a time that's going to be absolutely perfect for us to just get started, to go after our goals, go after our dreams, right? We have to just get started, right? There's a great quote out there that says, you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to start to be great. Right? And that's just simply what it comes down to, guys. We have to start pursuing whatever it is that we want to achieve, right? No matter what it is, guys, we got to start now. The sooner we start, the sooner we can then achieve those goals. Even if we start to go after our goals and we get pushed back, right? We start seeing losses. We start seeing, temporary defeats, right? Not failure, because if we don't stop, we're not going to fail. But if we start to see those temporary defeats, guys, we can then adjust and we can, change whatever we need to start, moving around obstacles and continuing to get better so we can continue to grow to achieve our goals, right? And that's the idea, guys. But you can't do any of that without starting. You have to get started soon, right? So again, there is no perfect time to begin. When it came to this podcast, guys, I had this idea to start this podcast years ago, and I did the same thing we all do. I kept pushing it off because I was scared. I was like, well, what if I don't have enough, educational material? What if I don't, have everything ready to go? What if I'm not a great speaker? What if people don't like it? What if all this stuff was crowding my mind? And I decided to just say, you know what? This is the time. I'm going to get started. I'm going to talk. I'm going to get on. I'm going to share my experiences, my knowledge. I'm going to continue to grow as I do this podcast so I can continue to add more statistics, add more analogies, all this kind of stuff to help people really grow, and I'll adjust as I go. And that's basically what I did. I launched this back in October, and I pretty much said, I'm just going to start and just continue to grow and continue to evolve. And if something messes up, I'm going to continue to get better as I continue to do this podcast, right? But I'm not going to get better until I start doing this, right? And that was just what helped me launch this podcast. And here we are 9 episodes later, right? And so the idea, guys, is there's not going to be that perfect time. We just got to push ourselves to get started. So many people, they want to start at the beginning of the week, right? Or they want to start at the beginning of the month, right? Or right now, guys, we're at the end of November. It's about to be December. And so many people are waiting for what? January 1st. They're waiting to create those New Year's resolutions. And they're saying, I'm going to start going to the gym in January 1st. I'm going to start, saving up starting in January. And my question to you is, it's right now, it's November 30th. Why are we waiting for January 1st when we still have a whole nother 31 days ahead of us? We have a whole nother month that we can start, our gym journey early. We can start saving right now. Why do we have to wait for January 1st, right? Why do we push things off so much? And this is why I personally don't like New Year's resolutions, because so many people think that just because the date changes, the year changes, we're now, a new year, new me type of thing, right? And so many people think that just because of that, it's going to allow us to, just have this different type of motivation, determination to get things done, when in reality, guys, New Year's resolutions, I'm sure you guys know this, don't necessarily always last. And there's a couple of statistics here about New Year's resolutions that pretty much say, guys, only 9% of Americans will last the entire year with their New Year's resolution. Only 9% will succeed throughout the full year, okay? 23% of people that create New Year's resolutions quit after the first week, and 43% of people quit after the first month, right? And so what you guys see is that nearly half of us don't even last 2 months creating New Year's resolutions. And why is that? Well, when we really break it down and we dive a little bit deeper into, what's going on, how come our New Year's resolutions don't last the full year like we want it to? And it simply comes down to motivation, right? And we talked about motivation a little bit, a few episodes ago when we talked about, the keys to success. It's not necessarily motivation. When that new year comes around, what happens? We get excited, we get motivated, that year changes, we wake up in the morning and we said, we're going to go to the gym today, or we're going to, start saving up money. We're going to start all these new different goals. And that date is here and we have a lot of adrenaline. We have a lot of motivation. We're ready to start going. And as the days go by and the weeks come, the months come, right? What happens? That motivation is fleeting, just like we talked about, right? Motivation is not what's going to help you in the long run. What does it come down to? Discipline and consistency, right? Understanding that we have to build the discipline to achieve our goals. We have to be consistent. We have to continue to show in, day out, doing the things that we don't want to do to achieve our goals, right? It's not so much about motivation. It's about building that discipline. So if it comes down to discipline and not motivation, why are we waiting? Why don't we get started now to build that discipline, to start doing the things that we don't want to do? Because let's say we start right now at the beginning of December and we have a whole extra month to start building up to that goal. And, we still have our New Year's resolutions. We're now going to have momentum going into that new year to achieve our goal, right? If we start doing the stuff now that we need to in this extra month of December, but we can really push ourselves all the way up and we're still excited about that New Year's resolution, that New Year date coming up, we can then have all of that motivation, all that excitement. So when that new year starts, guys, we've already started. We've already built up a whole lot of momentum, a whole lot of, discipline throughout this last month that's got us ready for the New Year's resolution. And essentially we can hit the ground running, right? We're already going, we're already moving when January 1st hits. So it's going to be easier to continue that process, right? And essentially, guys, we want to build habits. We want to continue to push ourselves to, whatever goal that we have, we want to have those habits in place already so we can continue to start pushing ourselves to achieve that goal, right? And there's actually a study done by the European Journal of Social Psychology that essentially, guys, on average, it takes about 66 days to create a habit, right? I know some of us may have heard, 21 days or, taking a couple weeks, all this kind of stuff. But what this study has shown that it takes about 66 days to build a habit, right? So why not just start now, right? Why not start in the moment right now to start building that habit? We know that it's going to take an average of whether it's 21 days or 66 days, or maybe some studies even say 90 days, right? We don't know the exact date, but if we know that it's going to take time to build a habit, what's the difference between starting January 1st and starting now? Right? January 1st is just a pretty date, that we're looking forward to, that it's going to be the start of a new year and it's going to look great, right? But we're not going to necessarily have lasting motivation that's going to push us any further, right? If we start right now, we actually gain a whole extra month, or, depending on when you're watching this, we're gaining extra time. Instead of waiting for January 1st, we can start right now to start building those habits, and the 66 or 21 days or 90 days start right now versus pushing it off even further, right? So let's start building that momentum. Let's start building that habit now. And that's why, it's such a good reason to really start, right now, even though if we're not fully prepared. Maybe there is a few things that we can get started. Maybe you're trying to launch a business. Okay, well, maybe you need your online website. Maybe you need some products to come in. That's okay to wait for stuff like that. But if you're simply waiting because you're not necessarily prepared, you feel that you're afraid that what if it doesn't work? What if I fail? What if this? All this kind of negativity comes into your mind, guys. Some of the best advice that I've received, guys, is just start now, keep going. If things are going to break, you can fix them as you go, right? But you can start right now to continue to push, and you can adjust later, right? That's the idea, is about not being so perfect to get started, but starting now and adjusting as you go. Start changing things that need to be changed. Some things aren't going to work. Some things aren't going to be perfect, right? But the idea is to adjust and grow, because if you start now, it gives you more time to then perfect your craft, perfect your business, perfect whatever it is that you want to do. You can start now and work your way up to continue to grow and get better. Just like we talked about, if your goal is to get into the gym starting January 1st, well, if you start right now before January 1st, whether it's a month in advance, a week in advance, whatever it may be, you're getting extra time, extra workouts in to, hit your fitness goals a lot earlier. You're starting now versus waiting and pushing it off. Same thing if you're trying to, let's say, save $10 a week or $100 a month, right? If you start right now, you're still getting in some extra time to start saving, and you're going to have more money towards the end of whenever your goal is, right? At the end of the year next year. Well, if you start now, you have a couple weeks ahead of time, right? You're saving more money than you would later on, right? And that's just simple, right? If we start now, guys, it's going to give us more opportunity to build more habits, but also start, seeing more progress a lot sooner than if we wait later. And I know some people may be thinking to themselves right now, what if I'm afraid to get started? What if I'm afraid of failure and all this kind of stuff? What if there's all this negativity is holding me back so much that I just simply can't start, right? Well, some of the things that we really got to focus on, guys, is you don't have to start all at once, right? If you're trying to, achieve your fitness goal, you don't have to go in and try to lift the heaviest weight ever and, try to, run 10 miles on the first day, nothing like that, guys. What you got to do is simply go in and start small. Go in, show up at the gym. That's a small win. Let's say tomorrow morning before work, you say, I'm going to go to the gym, and you head out there and you get there right before work, right? Well, you did it, guys. Celebrate that small win. You're at the gym. Now, what you got to do is simply just pick your exercise, set up your plan and start with something small. Maybe you start with a very light dumbbell and start doing some curls, right? Maybe you haven't worked out in a couple of years or, a couple of months, whatever it may be. Start light, guys. You don't have to jump right in and go fully deep into it and all this heavy weight and, again, running 10 miles, all this kind of stuff, guys. Just start small, walk 1 mile, right? Pick up the light dumbbells, right? Go to a machine and start at the lightest weight, right? Just get started, right? Start with those small steps, start with the small actions. And as you go and you start to gain confidence, guys, you can then start building upon that, go to heavier weights, start doing more miles on the treadmill, start incorporating all these other different exercises to help you guys achieve your goals and start growing and developing, right? Same thing with, saving, right? Maybe you're like, oh, well, in a couple months, I'm going to start getting this new job. It's going to help me make all this more money, right? But with the current job that I have now, can I start saving maybe just a little bit? Maybe I want to save $100 a month, right? But right now I can't save $100 a month, but maybe I can still, maybe save $10 a month, right? $20 a month, $50 a month, right? But what you're doing now, you're starting to develop those habits and you're starting to, build that savings account now rather than waiting, right? Even though it's not $100 that you're trying to save, in a couple months when you get that new job, right? You're still saving, again, $10, $20, $30 a month, right? And you're starting to build that savings account even with just smaller amounts, right? And it's going to help you in the long run achieve success a lot more and a lot quicker, right? All because we're starting now. We're building those habits. Some of my clients, in the gym, right, when we start working out, they come in and they're kind of scared. They're like, hey, I'm not very strong. I'm kind of weak. And that's okay. I always tell them that we always have a starting point, right? We come in and our goal is to figure out where we're at, and we're going to start very light. I'd rather start too light than too heavy and cause injury and all this kind of stuff, or, go into ego lifting, all this kind of stuff. We're not worried about that. We're all going to start at our beginning step, right? We're going to start with the lightweight. We're going to see where we're at, what we're capable of. And from there, we can build on top of that, right? And that's the same thing we want to do with everything, whether you're trading, whether you're, getting involved in crypto, or getting involved in network marketing, whatever it is, guys, start light, start small, and appreciate those wins. Appreciate those small steps to achieving success, right? That's what our focus should be on, is progress, not perfection. And remember, as we take those small actions and we take those small wins, guys, that's going to build more confidence to continue to want to show up, knowing that, telling ourselves that, yes, we can do this. We can show up for ourselves. We're here in the gym. We're here saving money. We're here doing whatever it is that we want to do. We're learning. We're doing all this stuff, guys. And we're starting to build that confidence, building those habits to help us be successful in the long run. Okay. And so with that being said, guys, what can we do now to start now? What can we do to start building those habits, right? And so this is where I've actually, come up with a challenge that I like to do at the end of the year. And I do it specifically at the end of the year because it's kind of a play on words, right? Kind of going on with the theme of the holidays, but also I do it right before the end of the year because, again, we know those New Year's resolutions are coming up for a lot of people, but instead of waiting for January 1st, let's start now. Let's start before then. Again, build off of the end of this year, start building that momentum, building those habits so we hit the new year running, right? We hit the ground running in the new year because we've already developed those habits, that consistency, that discipline to help us achieve our goals in the new year, right? So with that being said, guys, I want to tell you a little bit more about my challenge. If you guys want to take this to really start building those habits and developing your goals overall, right? So guys, the challenge is the 25 Days of Growth Challenge. This is the third year in a row that I'm going to be doing it, guys. And we actually started on Black Friday, November 29th. But even though we've already started, guys, that doesn't mean you can't start now with this challenge, right? There's not exact dates that you have to take this challenge, nothing like that, right? This challenge is based on just simply completing 5 tasks every single day to help us achieve our goals and help us achieve success in the long run, right? So with this challenge, guys, it's, simply us taking these 5 tasks and, finding the time throughout the day to really work on ourselves, to really develop whatever it is that we want to do, right? So I'm going to break down this challenge a little bit for you guys to see if this is something that can help you guys achieve success, okay? So number 1 is writing down our goals, right? Every single day, we want to write down our goals, no matter what it be, on a piece of paper and a notebook, whatever works best for you guys. But every single day, we want to rewrite our goals. And just like we talked about on the very first episode of creating smart goals, guys, writing down our goal actually helps us, visualize this a little bit better, right? Obviously, we're putting it down on a physical thing in the real world that we can actually see. And so as we put it down on a piece of paper, it becomes more real, right? It's something that we put down that we can read every single day, right? And, in this challenge, we write it down every single day. It becomes more real to us, right? We're able to see this every single day. And by reading this to ourselves every single day, guys, again, we're able to now, vision this a little bit more, vision ourselves of actually achieving this goal already and having this goal in our subconscious mind every single day, right? It's constantly building into us, that pattern, again, that habit of essentially, this is the goal that we want. It's always in the back of our mind, and we're going to continue to go after it. We're going to continue to get better by simply just reading our goals and writing them every single day. So that's number one, right? For 25 days straight, guys, we want to write down our goals. The next one is we want to read every single day. Okay. If you guys did not know, the average CEO reads about 60 books per year. Okay. The average CEO reads about 60 books per year. Okay. That's more than one per week. And the reason why, I bring that up, guys, is because simply, if these successful CEOs, these, people that are making the money that we want to make, having the success that we want to have, guys, if they're reading, why aren't we reading as well? Now, there's no, guarantee that reading is going to help you be successful and become a CEO, right? But reading is going to help us continue to grow, continue to get better in whatever it is that we want to learn, right? Maybe we're reading classic books like Think and Grow Rich or The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, right? Or maybe we're reading, books that are, specific to whatever that we want to learn. Maybe you want to learn more about fitness. You want to learn more about trading. You want to learn more about, psychology, whatever it is, guys. But as you're learning and as you're reading, guys, you're starting to develop and you're starting to grow and learn a little bit more each and every day, right? So we want to write down our goals every day. We also want to read for at least 10 minutes every single day. Okay, if you could read more. But again, minimum of 10 minutes is going to help us, again, start creating that habit of wanting to continue to learn, having that open-mindedness, okay? Number 3 is work out every single day for at least 30 minutes. Okay. And so this one, I know a lot of people say, well, I thought we needed rest days. I thought we needed recovery. Absolutely. I'm all for rest days, guys. We definitely want to give our body some rest, right? But what we can do, guys, is break down our gym schedule, our workout schedule into different days, right? Maybe, one day we're working chest and triceps, another day we're working back and biceps, another day we're working legs, another day we're working core, right? So we're still giving our muscles proper rest, but we're still working some part of our body, a different muscle each and every day, right? Still working to continue to grow. Now, however, if you also want to just give yourself full rest days away from the gym, maybe you want to work out 4 times a week, 5 times a week, right? Actually at the gym, but the other 2 days, right? Doesn't necessarily have to be an intense workout. Why don't you go and do something that's at least active, right? That's the idea behind this. Being active for at least 30 minutes to continue to support your health and continue to support your fitness journey, right? So maybe you're not at the gym, but why don't you go for a walk with your dogs? Why don't you take your kids to the park and play catch with them, right? Why don't you go and, maybe just do a home core workout, right? Or maybe you go for a hike with friends or whatever it may be, guys. Just doing something active that's going to help you guys, again, continue to support your health, continue to grow on your fitness journey. That's the idea behind working out at least 30 minutes every single day. So once again, guys, we have write down your goals, read at least 10 minutes a day, work out at least 30 minutes a day. Number 4, guys, is practice a skill that you want to master, right? Whether it's trading, whether it's learning how to play the guitar, whether it's learning, how to type better, right? Whatever it may be, something that you really want to grow and improve on. For me, for example, guys, what I'm doing for practice a skill is I'm trying to be more fluent in Spanish, right? I know a little bit of Spanish, but not a whole lot to have full conversations, guys. So what I'm doing is I'm really taking the time, at least 30 minutes a day, practicing my Spanish, practicing different sentences and conversations with, Duolingo or ChatGPT, helping me, starting to become more fluent and having, normal conversations with actual people out in the world, right? So that's kind of my goal, is to start having more realistic and more in-person type of conversations so I can really start to learn the language and become more fluent. And with my continued practice, guys, pronto hablaré español con fluidez, right? Or soon I will speak Spanish fluently, probably with a better accent. Okay, so that's number 4. And number 5, guys, is learn something new, right? Learn something that you've always wanted to learn, right? Now, this is completely different from practice a skill. Practicing a skill is something that you've already kind of dabbled with, you've already kind of been interested in it, you've tried it before, but learning something new is something that you've always wanted to learn, but you kept putting it off. Right? Whatever that is, guys, start learning it, right? For me, guys, what I've been trying to do is learn a little bit more about nutrition. I am a certified strength and conditioning specialist, but what I learned from my certification, guys, is simply, the exercises that promote muscle growth and also help us condition a little bit better, right? But not so much about nutrition, right? I'm not a licensed nutritionist or dietitian at all. So my goal is to learn a little bit more about nutrition to help my clients, to help educate people more on nutrition a little bit more each and every day. So my goal is to learn a little bit more about dieting and, the nutrition that our body needs to continue to grow muscle, right? Lose body fat, all this different kind of stuff to really break down, what we need as individuals when it comes to our fitness journey outside of the gym, right? Yes, we can, work out all the time, work on these exercises, but, we all know that nutrition is half the battle. So I want to learn a little bit more, dive a little bit deeper into understanding nutrition a little bit better to help myself, but also people around the world learn more about what it takes from the nutrition side of things. Okay. So once again, guys, that is the 25 days of growth challenge, right? Remember, writing down our goals, reading for at least 10 minutes a day, working out for at least 30 minutes a day, practicing a skill for at least 30 minutes a day, and learning something new for 30 minutes a day, okay? Completing these 5 tasks, guys, should only take at most 2 hours of your day, right? It shouldn't be too hard for us to really find those 2 hours to help us grow and develop to achieve the goals that we want. Again, this challenge was created to really help us build those habits moving into the new year. So let's finish off this year strong, right? Let's start building those habits. Let's start building that discipline. So when that New Year's comes, guys, and all these people are creating the New Year's resolutions, well, we already have momentum. We're already hitting the ground running and we're achieving success, with momentum as these people are just getting started, right? So let's push ourselves to start now at the end of the year rather than waiting, guys, and let's go after our goals right now. If you're feeling up to it, take the challenge, guys. Take at least 25 days to start building these habits. And the goal is to not just stop after 25 days, but to continue this challenge. Again, we're building those habits so that each and every day from here on out, we can really push ourselves to achieve our goals with that discipline, right? That's the idea, right? So let's push ourselves, guys. Let's start now. Let's keep going and let's achieve success starting now. Let's not wait for New Year's like everybody else. Let's be different. Let's start achieving that success now. So with that being said, that's what I got for you guys today on today's episode. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And I'm going to leave you guys as I always do. Remember, success isn't just about the money you make or the muscles you build. It's also about the mindset you develop along the way. So with that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode of Money Muscle Mindset.